You might not know this, but this is not a yoga studio. This is my bedroom, which I turn into a yoga studio a couple of days a week, and then have to take everything down so that we can actually sleep here. So this is the new world, right? This is how we work these days. So we're about a minute or two away. I'm still going to let people come on in, and I'll repeat again a few things for those of you who are just coming in now. I'm Andrea Trank. I am a registered yoga teacher with the Yoga Alliance. I'm a certified integrative medicine health coach. I focus on aging issues, preventing Alzheimer's, chronic disease, autoimmune issues, gut health. So I'm not, like a health coach you would hire just if you wanted to lose weight. Although when you get healthy and you figure out your problems, you do end up losing weight, or you get to your right weight. Today I'll be focusing on yoga. That's something I've been doing for over 30 years. And in terms of things you need, again, if you have a mat, that would be great. You don't want something slippery, so don't put a towel down for the standing poses if it's slippery. You can have the towel for it when you're lying down. And I want you to be sideways to me, so your mat is horizontal rather than vertical toward me, because a lot of the things we're going to be doing are going to be side to side. So get comfortable, get started. Let's go ahead and do some yoga for stress reduction today. So I'm going to start with a tapping routine for you. In case you haven't heard about tapping, it is taking the world by storm. Emotional freedom technique is what it's called. And tapping is a way of actually touching gently parts of your body to acknowledge feelings, clear energy channels. Most of the places we're touching are ends of meridians or channels that go to various organs and kind of go throughout your whole body. So the first thing I would like for you to all do is figure out what is causing you to feel stress. And maybe it's still COVID-19, maybe it's the current situation involving tensions with Black Lives Matters, maybe it's something personally going on with your health or something going on. Whatever it is, go ahead and put your attention on it for a moment. And when you put your attention on it, I'd like for you to give it a number from 0 to 10 on how much it is stressing you out. 0 being very little, and then 10 being it's off the chart. So just go ahead and label it, speak it, give it a number. And so this is what we'll be focusing on releasing in the tapping routine. So I'm going to use mine as an example. My stomach has been bothering me the last few days. I tend to get stomach issues. So what I will do, and I'll give it a number of about 6 or 7. So we're going to start by tapping on the side of our hand, which is known as the karate chop. Please don't do it so hard that it actually hurts you. And then I'm going to give you the words to say, but you replace whatever's stressing you out when you say these words. I'm anxious about my stomach hurting. And you're going to say, I'm anxious about whatever it is you're anxious about. Even though I'm anxious or stressed about my stomach hurting or whatever's stressing you, I choose to relax and feel safe now. Even though I've had a lot of thoughts and ruminations about whatever pain is causing your stress, I let it go and feel safe now. Even though I am feeling this way about whatever it is, I accept myself. So now we're going to actually focus on the thing that's bothering us and start by tapping on your inner brow. So you'll just say the thing over and over again. For instance, I'll say, my stomach pain. And you'll say whatever it is that's bothering you. And then let's tap to the outside of our eye. And you say it again. Underneath your eye, go ahead and repeat the same thing that you're anxious about. We're giving voice to what's bothering you and stressing you out. Under your nose, my stomach. Under your lip, in that little crevice in your chin, go ahead and repeat that again. On your clavicle, just say it again. You're just giving voice to it on all the different tapping points, making sure all your cells can hear you. Now on the side of your body, about 3 fingers down from your breast, say it one more time. The world situation, COVID-19, whatever it is that is bothering you and stressing you out. Go ahead and say it one more time as you tap the top of your head. So we're going to go through all the tapping points again, but this time we're going to say releasing statements. Go ahead and start at your eyebrow. It's safe to let this go. You can even say whatever you are letting go. It is safe to release the stress. Under the eye, I choose to feel safe now. Under the nose, letting go. Under the chin, I am letting go. Collarbone, I am safe now. Under the arm, it is safe. From every cell in my body, I feel safe. And top of the head, right now, I am feeling safe. So go ahead and just close your eyes for a moment and maybe go back to that initial stress that we were focusing on that you gave a number to, and give it a number now. I'm hoping the number is a lower number than it was the first time. And then let's make our way down to a seated position. If you have something to sit on, go ahead. And we're going to start with some movement. So if sitting cross-legged feels good to you, you can go ahead and sit cross-legged, but you don't have to. Again, if cross-legged, we're not going to do anything today that makes you feel unsafe in your body, because that would just ruin all that we've just done. So whatever doesn't feel right, you need to modify in some way so that you feel safe. I'm going to, as much as possible, try to mirror you. So if you are sitting in cross-legged, go ahead and put your right leg in front of the left, or if you like to sit in a lotus position, put your right leg up. And then let's just go side to side a little bit, stretching out. Anytime you see me do something and then know what I'm doing, you're welcome to close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, you draw your attention inward. So just go with a natural breath. See how your breath is right now. Don't try to change it at this moment. A few more times. Nice. All right, come back to the center, and then let's go ahead and roll our shoulders out. If you feel better rolling one at a time, you can do it. Roll them back first. And then roll them forward. See if you can loosen your chin and your jaw. Sometimes our chin, our jaw, our neck gets so stiff. Go ahead and drop your chin to the chest and just allow your chin to go off to the right as if you're a pendulum, and then off to the left, Just notice any sensations in your body. Don't judge it, and don't do anything that makes your body feel unsafe. You're accepting yourself completely. One more time. Come back to the center. Let's drop our ear off to the right. You could even raise your right shoulder up and let it go down. Sometimes when you tense something up first and then let it go, it can relax more. So you tense up and then let it go. Tensing it up and then letting it go. Come back to the other side. Go ahead and tense that shoulder up to the ear. Let it go. Drawing it up with a little bit of tension and then releasing. And then last time. Draw your hands behind your neck. I'll show you what it looks like. Right here, you're supporting your neck. And this is a way of us doing circles, but circles safely. I don't want you to circle back. Your hands are keeping you from circling back too far. But you're just circling around your whole body. Just letting things go. All right, now you still should have that right leg either in front or on top if you're sitting in cross leg. We're going to go off and twist to the right. So go ahead and twist to the right. Have the twist come from the middle of the body through the shoulders, and you can even dip your chin and move your head. You don't want to create any tension here. So you're getting a lovely twist which releases the middle of your body, but not too tense. Good, let's come back to the middle. Now it's time to change the cross of your legs. So go ahead and put the other leg on top or in front, and let's go side to side a few times again, making sure that we're still feeling good inside of our body, letting things go. A lot of releasing stress is letting things go and accepting where we are today. This is our reality, but letting things go that no longer serve us. Let's go ahead and twist off to the left. So be careful in your twist. You don't want to do anything that makes you feel more stressed. Just notice where you're feeling this. Notice your breath. So when you do a move like this, does your breath still stay relaxed, or does it start just being more like agitated? Your breath is really a great indication of how a move is feeling in your body. Good, let it go. So before we come off of our seat, let's go ahead and widen our legs and maybe just give them a rub down. Just rub, particularly below your knees. You have a lot of acupressure points that release anxiety that are on the outer edge of your legs below your knees. So sometimes when you find a tender spot like that, it's like, oh, that might be because you're feeling anxious and stressed. So just kind of give it a rub down a little bit. All right. And let's go ahead and draw our feet in, and we're going to come onto our knees but facing each other. I always cushion my knees. So if you're on something that's hard, but you have a towel or anything nearby, these things work really great. I got this at, I think, TJ Maxx, but you can use garden cushions. They work really well. So go ahead and put something under your knees. All right, so I'm facing you, and I'd like for you to continue to face me. I like to raise the floor up with blocks or books or something like that. So I have one on each side of me. If you have anything like that, that would be really helpful. And go ahead and take your right leg off to the side. Now, if you can, you're trying to point the toes toward me, but sometimes that can be a little crampy in the leg. So if that's at all crampy in the leg, then don't do it. We're going to lean toward that leg, come up and down a few times. Some of you might draw your hand over your head if that feels good. Again, you don't want to do anything that gets you out of feeling relaxed, calm. All right, now if you feel like staying there, go ahead. Now, when I stay down here, I support my neck because I tend to have some neck issues. So I'm leaning over, I'm getting a beautiful side stretch on my left side body. Good. And coming back up. Now, if you can turn your foot, so my right foot is now turning sort of perpendicular to you guys. So if you're familiar with yoga, this would be a warrior two on the knee, and just stretch into that. You can look over your right hand if you want to, or keep looking at me. Just a couple of gentle stretches. This is a great stretch for your inner thigh and groin. And if you want to lean over toward that leg, keeping that right knee bent, you don't have to have that arm overhead. You can support your neck or keep it on your waist. Good. Keep that right knee bent, and now we're leaning back a little. This is where I usually reach for the block rather than trying to reach my hand down to the floor. So I'm leaning back and drawing this arm over and getting a great stretch the other way. Nice. And come on back. And last but not least, with this right leg, have your toes, if you can, pointed back toward me. And now we're going to open up. So some of you might be reaching the ground. This is really gate latch pose. But for me, I'm just going to keep my hand a little more propped up and get a beautiful stretch on your side body. We're preparing our body to do Moon Salutation, so that's why we're stretching a lot of side to side. The Moon Salutation is always side to side. So go ahead and take your left foot out, and if your toes can point toward me without cinching up, again, my hip sometimes cinches when I do that. So be aware, be gentle. You can even rub the area of the body that's kind of giving you a little trouble, just to give it permission to let go. Go ahead and lean over, coming back a few times. Maybe you want to stay there already. Some of us need to ease our body into a movement. It just doesn't want to go right to the full movement. And then some of you might want to add the arm overhead. See how that feels? If it feels good, continue with it. Now, the other thing I tell people, because if your neck is bothering you, either looking up or looking straight toward me, you can always take your neck out of the picture by looking down at that foot. And that provides a lot of comfort for the neck. Good. Now let's go ahead and bend this knee. So now we're opening up our inner thighs. The knee is pointing toward the left, and you can open this up. You're pretending you're doing a warrior two, but you're on your knee. So warrior two on the knee. And now we're leaning over toward that. My knee's still bent. You don't have to have your arm up. In fact, you could just keep it on your waist, on your shoulder, supporting your neck. Good. Come back to the middle. So now I'm grabbing for the block, and I'm leaning back. My front knee is still bent, and I'm just feeling that lovely stretch. Now, again, if this is bothering your neck, look down at that right hand and get your neck out of this so you can do this pose safely. So now go ahead and point your toes, if you can, of the outstretched leg toward me. If this is not cinching you up, I still have that prop in my hand so that I can lean over completely and open up. You don't have to look up again. Again, that can be very irritating to a neck if you're having a neck issue. So be very aware of what you're doing the whole time. Good, draw that leg in. Let's just shift our hips around a little bit, one direction and the other direction. And we are going to do a few cat-cows. If you are familiar with cat-cows, you're on all fours, and then you're stretching your front body on an inhale. You don't have to look up too much, because that can overstretch your neck. On the exhale, you're drawing your navel in, draw it in, draw it in, draw it in. And you can even push back if you want into a child's pose. Not staying here yet, but just sliding back and forth through. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. Now, child's pose can be one of the great poses for de-stressing if you can do it safely. I'm going to turn sideways for a moment just so you can see some of the ways that I make child's pose be a super, super stress release pose. So I put something under my knees. I widen my knees a little bit, but I also have something under my ankles because oftentimes my ankles are hurting when I lean back this far. The other thing you might want to consider is putting something under your butt between your thighs so that you actually have something to sit on when you lean back. So whichever way works best for you, you come on down, and then you might even want to raise the floor up with something so your head can actually rest on something. Now you can stretch your arms way out in front if that feels good. You can actually curl your arms by your side. And some people really tuck in and make themselves look like a turtle while they're really tucked in. And that can be super, super relaxing. So I'm going to ask you to stay in this pose for just a bit. And I'm going to do a special breathing technique with you while you're in this pose. Now, if child's pose can no way, no how be comfortable, then get into a different pose, seated, lying down, standing up, something else if child's pose is not working for you. All right, so while you're in child's pose, I'm going to want you to start to breathe in to the count of either 3, 4, or 5, depending on what feels comfortable. If you can get to 5, that's considered really good for slowing your heart rate down and relaxing you. But if that's stressing you out, you obviously don't want to breathe into 5. And then I want you to also exhale to the same length. So let's say I'm inhaling to the count of 4 into my heart. I'm imagining the inhale's going to my heart, and then I'm exhaling from my heart to the count of 4. And I keep going. I'm inhaling to the count of 4 or 5 to my heart. And then I'm exhaling to the count of 4 or 5. Now the next time you inhale to the count of 4 or 5 to your heart, I want you to put in your mind somebody or something you care deeply about. It could be a spouse, a child, a friend, an animal. And if you can't come up with somebody, maybe it's something you did where you had this just wonderful feeling. So what we're doing is we're planting a beautiful feeling in our heart, whether it's over somebody, something, as you're doing this long, slow inhale and long, slow exhale into the heart and out of the heart. A few more times. So what we're doing with this technique is having the heart talk to the brain and having by putting this beautiful feeling in our heart, the messages to the brain are much more positive, which can get us out of a stressful condition. So this is something you can do anytime, anywhere. Obviously, you don't want to close your eyes if you're driving, or you can place your hand on the heart if you want to, but this is one of the techniques that can really lower your stress. All right, let's get back to some more movement. So we're going to make our way to standing, and you can decide whether you want to do a downward dog today to a forward fold, or whether you just want to come up safely to standing. I think I'm going to lean back on my feet and tuck my toes in and come up to standing this way. So And then move everything out of your way. We're not really going to use anything for our standing poses right now. So I still want you to face me if you can. Well, maybe you might still want a block on either end. You might still want that. That might be helpful. All right, so let's go ahead and find our way into a mountain pose, which is just standing there strongly, finding your feet really grounded into the surface, and you can even imagine that your feet is developing roots. And if it feels okay for you, go ahead and close your eyes and just see how you're feeling. Just notice how you're feeling for a moment. Good. When you're ready, open your eyes. You can interlace your hands above your head like a steeple if you want. You can turn the hands like this if you want, facing the ceiling. Or if you have shoulder issues, just place your hands on your head. Whichever way works for you. So we're going to go ahead and lean over to the right. First moon phase. Come back to the center. You're going to inhale when you come to the center, draw your navel in, exhale when you go off to the left. Good. Come back to the center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale in the center, draw navel in, exhale, off to the right. And center. Inhale, exhale, draw navel in, off to the left. And center. Come back to the center and widen your stance into a squat. This is called either horseman or goddess pose, depending if you're a man or a woman. So you're imagining that you're holding the full moon, but rather than it weighing you down, it's lifting you up. It's illuminating you with the light. Good. Go ahead and straighten your knees, spread your fingers out. They're starfish. They're little starfish swimming in beautiful, clean waters. So imagine that. Now take your left toes and point them toward me, and your right toes and point it toward the side, and come down into a warrior two. And breathe here. Breathe. Come into side angle, stretching off. We're doing exactly the same thing we did practicing on our knees. Come back to the center. Lean back. And back to the center. Now straighten this front knee and come into a triangle. And a triangle is literally an up and down. You look like you're doing a cartwheel. And if you have no neck issues, you can look up to the sky. If you have neck issues, you keep your eyes either neutral or you can even look down to the front foot. Good. And breathe. Breathe. Nice. Come back up. Let's go ahead, and if you have that block, grab the block. If you don't, you're just reaching for the floor. And let's come to the middle. And let's tuck our head in all the way down and do a wide-legged forward fold. And bend and straighten the knees a few times. Forward folds, particularly wide-legged ones, are very, very relaxing and stress-reducing. And the nice thing about a wide-legged forward fold, it's safer for the back. All right. So turning... I want you to leave your left hand on the floor or the brick, and then take your right hand. We're doing a windmill. Now, if you don't have any neck issues, you can look up. If you do, like I do, I have some neck issues, I'm not going to look up. The other reason you wouldn't want to look up is if you tend to get dizzy. So your eyes would stay down. But this is a beautiful way to safely stretch and relax your system. A few more times. Good. Now we're going to do one more thing. We're going to bend our knees and circle around. So this is actually called a rotating sun salutation. Nice. Let's go the other direction. Circling. Ah. And guess what else is a great stress reliever? Sighing. And you know what? We're all in our own space, so we can sigh as loud as we want. Nice. Go ahead and turn your feet out away from each other. Bend your knees. Let's just do a few squats with arms crossing above and crossing down. When you cross the hemisphere of the brain, you're actually really doing good things for your mental focus too. And so oftentimes when we're stressed, we don't have as good a mental focus. So this helps with that too. Nice. And now let's go ahead and go into a warrior two facing the other way. Warrior two. Breathing, leaning over. Back to the center, leaning back, exactly what we did when we were on our knees. So all we're doing is kind of duplicating that, and we're adding in the triangle. Straighten that front knee, and imagine you're doing a cartwheel, and this arm can go up to the sky unless your shoulder's bothering you. In that case, you can just keep it out. But you see how I'm drawing my body up and down? So I'm not like leaning way far down. I'm lifting up the right shoulder. And if you want to, adding that arm. And if you want to, looking up. Breathing. Nice. Back to a warrior two. Have our feet turn away from each other. Let's go ahead and go into the horseman or goddess pose. Let's let our fingers be starfish in the water. Let's draw the feet together. A little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Arms back over the head. Lean over to your left. Last moon phase. Come back to the center. Lean to the right. Back to the center. Draw your hands to the heart. And either close your eyes or soft gaze and notice how you're feeling. Sighing if you need to. Just letting things go. That's what it's all about, just letting go. Letting go the need to control. Just staying present, being accepting, having faith that we are safe. Good, open your eyes. I hope you're feeling good. So let's go ahead and do a balance. It's always great to do a balance in every yoga class. So I don't want to make this stressful for you. So if tree is stressful for you, then just do, leg out in front. If tree is not stressful for you, you can do a tree. Now, you don't have to have your leg way up. You don't have to do a whole lot. You're still balancing even if you take your toes up and down the ground. And the other thing you can always do is you can always stand close to a wall, start off, but I'd rather you not be like this so you don't end up doing that. So if you're going to be close to the wall, be close to the wall, and then put your leg up. And then if you feel like you can, release. And then you can either grow your tree like this, or you can just do a balance with your knee in front. Whatever balance you want to work on today, because again, we're not trying to stress you out. We're trying to calm you down. So your yoga practice should not be stressful, right? Breathing. Good. Let's go ahead and shake it out and do the other side. Finding something that works for you, that works your balance, because we do want to work our balance. But again, we want it to be, how do I say this? We don't want to be so rigid. If you're too rigid, you're not going to be able to stay balanced. But then again, if you're too soft and gooey, you're not going to stay balanced. So you got to be somewhere in the middle. You have to have a little bit of fluidity and a little bit of strength. It's known as sthira and sukha in Sanskrit. All right, let it go, shake it out. So another way to actually release stress, believe it or not, is to just shake. I mean, you've seen animals do that, and they just shake. So when you're trying to you're getting things out of your system, just shake it out. Good. All right, so we're going to come back down to the ground, and I think I want to do a mudra practice, and then we'll go ahead and lay down and do the last practices on our back. So the mudras are hand positions, and you can use your hands almost like radio antennas, if any of you are old enough to know what a radio antenna is, which draws the signal. So the signal that we create by doing interesting things with our hands then helps get our body getting that energy. Our body is made of energy. So we're going to do an anti-stress hand mudra. And it comes from this wonderful book of mudras from Joseph and Lillian LePage, and I just love their book. And this one is called Dhana Mudra, which is the gesture of surrender or letting go. So what you're going to do is take your thumb and touch your third and fourth finger. So your thumb and your third and fourth finger are touching each other. And now your second finger and your pinky are up like little rabbit ears. Got it? So go ahead and lay this on your lap comfortably. So sit in a comfortable position, get your fingers in that position, lay that on your lap, and they can be facing up. So the backs of your hands are comfortable. Now see if you can draw your shoulders down. And if you feel safe to just close your eyes and listen to my instructions, go ahead and do that. Try to sit up tall. And let's just start by noticing. Just notice for a bit. So this mudra is directing breath and awareness and energy into your pelvis and the base of your body, which should dramatically slow your breath and lengthen the exhale, cultivating a sense of deep release and relaxation. As we relax more deeply, the gesture naturally enhances our sensitivity to both our physical and subtle bodies, allowing us to perceive the seeds of imbalance before they manifest as disease. So Pranidhana Mudra creates a massaging effect in the pelvis and the base of the body. It supports the health of the elimination, urinary, and reproductive systems, and instills a sense of letting go within the mind and emotions. So as you hold this mudra, and I'm going to release it so I can really read this to you, take several natural breaths to attune to all the feelings and sensations evoked by this gesture. Notice how your exhaling breath is naturally lengthened and directed down toward the base of your body, cultivating a sense of release that allows you to relax more deeply. Take several breaths to attune to this growing sense of release, a feeling that you can let go more easily of all that no longer supports your journey. In order to deepen your sense of release, begin by experiencing tension in your physical being. So gently contracting all your muscles from your head down to your feet. Now slowly begin to release, starting with your legs and feet and continuing part by part, allowing you to experience greater relaxation and ease throughout your entire being. With greater relaxation and ease, take some time to sense how your breath naturally flows more smoothly and freely. With body and breath more at ease, you envision greater relaxation and release in all of your activities. Begin by envisioning yourself releasing the need to be constantly doing and achieving, especially in those moments you have set aside for relaxing. In the space created by this release, take several breaths to sense yourself appreciating the simple things, welcoming each moment as an opportunity to live fully and joyfully. Living with greater ease, you naturally let go of the need to judge yourself so harshly, softening self-criticism, allowing all aspects of your being to coexist in greater harmony. Embracing yourself more easily, you release the need to control others or judge them so critically, allowing each being to travel their own journey while you focus on your own process of transformation and learning. With greater acceptance of yourself and others, you naturally attune more deeply to your own inner being, surrendering to life, allowing its inherent wisdom to guide your journey. Guided by life's own inner stream, its changing cycles and seasons no longer affect your essential equanimity, allowing you to live with greater harmony. So affirm your ability to release by repeating the following 3 times, either out loud or silently. As I learn to let go more easily, I naturally live with greater ease and harmony. As I learn to let go more easily, I naturally live with greater ease and harmony. As I learn to let go more easily, I naturally live with greater ease and harmony. Go ahead and release the gesture. Take several breaths to sense the lightness and ease that comes from complete release. And when you are ready, you will come on down to your backs. If you need a blanket under your head or a cushion under your knees or low back, you can go ahead and do that. We'll do a few leg stretches and maybe end up in the ultimate relaxation pose. So go ahead and stretch out fully on the mat unless you have a low back issue. In that case, you want to keep your knees bent the whole time. If you don't have a low back issue, then you can stretch them out. So rise your hands over your head toward the ground on an inhale, and then draw the right knee into the chest on an exhale. And then keep going. Inhale, left knee into the chest on an exhale. Inhale, right knee in, and inhale, left knee in. The next time, bring both legs in. Inhale, bring both knees in on the exhale and go ahead and circle around. Circling one direction, feeling your low back as if you're giving it little massages from underneath on the floor. Go ahead and circle the other direction and just notice how you're feeling. Place your feet on the ground with your knees bent. They can be wider than hip distance apart. If it feels comfortable, you can raise your arms over your head and lay them on the ground, palms up. Allow your knees to sway side to side in a windshield wiper fashion. This is a beautiful way to realign your pelvis and feel more centered. If you have knee issues, you may want to draw your feet further down the mat away from your body so that you're not torquing your knee as much. A few more times. Now draw your feet toward each other. You don't have to have your hands over your head anymore, and allow your knees to rest off to the side in a reclined Cobblers pose. You can place your hands on your hips for support or underneath your rear if that is more supportive. And just stay here and breathe deeply for a few counts. Noticing the relaxation when you ground your low body into the earth. Bring your knees toward each other. Draw your knees in toward your body. This time we're going to draw our legs up to the sky. Now, when I bring my legs up to the sky, I tend to have to put either a blanket or a bolster under my low back because the way my back curves. So I'm going to draw my legs straight up. You can also do happy baby if you like that pose. That's with knees bent, feet kind of in a frog fashion, or just legs straight up to the sky. So in versions like this, where your legs are up and getting your hips above the heart allows your heart to rest a little bit. And this is a great restful position. It gets us out of fight and flight and do into rest and digest and be. So we'll stay here for a minute or two. I'm going to get out and check on the time. You guys stay there. See how we're doing time-wise? Good. We're still doing very well. So just go ahead and rest. And while you're resting, you can either stay in this pose for the rest of the class and make that your Shavasana pose, or once you've been in that pose for a minute or two, you can go into a traditional Shavasana where you really just stretch yourself out in the most comfortable position you can find and release all tension and let it go. This is where you get to absorb all the beautiful things we did in our class. So I will ring the singing bells. I'll read you a poem, allow you to rest, and then when the class is over, I'll ring the singing bells one more time so you know you'll be finished. So this poem is from one of my favorite poets, Dhana, and it's called Let It Go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you're longing for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you receive it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. So let go. And the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores, beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. So let it all go. So begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, stretch, and gently make your way to a seated pose so that we can send all of us on our way today. So find your way carefully. Go ahead and gather anything you needed from this class and draw your hands to the heart. Let's acknowledge each other, each of us on our own healing journey, and today on this collective healing journey, as we all together say, Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this class. Don't forget you can reach out to me through Take Lessons, and I can teach you there. And if you want group, I can teach you on my own classes. Namaste. Bye-bye.